So here we are now, one of the last videos now. We will go on the design thinking approach. This presentation is based on our cooperation on older project which I worked in, the Urban Nexus project, together with the Denkmodell and of course the GIZ. So I would like to show you the next. So let's start with a definition of design thinking. Design thinking can be described as a discipline that uses the designer's sensibility and methods to match people's needs with what is technologically feasible and what is viable in the way of business strategy, and can convert into consumer value and market opportunities. So this is a little bit a broad definition. Let's go a little bit more into detail, and I want to show you that on a case study which we have done. So in the Philippines, again, we are back in the Philippines, sorry for that, but it's a warm, nice climate there compared to here now with -25. Okay, so adapted from the design thinking workshop which we had in Naga City in 2017 with the GIZ Urban Nexus project, the purpose was to make a 30-year sustainable urban development plan for Naga City. So the college which I was working with, the BISCAS, was working together with the city planning office of Naga City, and we had 7 design thinking workshops with a participative approach. That means we had actually our target groups, the urban population in the design process. So we had different groups. One was transport, housing, waste. Then we had people who are vulnerable, education, health, and climate change, disaster risk, RM, I cannot remember what it was, but it's about resilience against disasters. So we also use that kind of approach, the design thinking approach, in other ways. In the Fab Lab, which is a fabrication laboratory at the school, and also to select students for workshops to assess their creativity, language, and their team building skills. So it was quite, so you can use the design thinking for several reasons. So let's go on that one here. So how we did it? Well, it starts with a persona. So you focus on one person and put on the person some questions. So where she comes from, what is her job, does she has a family, and so on. And then, so this is already done in a group work, in a selected group. And then, for example, here we have a group of 4 people, and they are now looking for the persona's background. The idea is actually to have one person which is artificial and not the group. So persons from the group bringing in their ideas from their perspective. It should be the persona, though, that they have one common persona. So this is actually one big difference than to other approaches for designs. And then, of course, you have a task with a question, which I already, I think, announced in the other presentation. So here, for example, it was housing. So the group is working on with this persona, what is her needs and values and what she wants to have for the future in the field of housing. Then the group came up with something like that. So, and then we had a kind of a consolidation. So we had several groups, they all had the same question, but a different persona. And so they came up with different ideas. So this is already going into the consultation group from the city planners. They actually then started to what came out here and here. They put it into the Naga city plan and worked on the design. Though that was already like us, engineers, architects, and so on. So at the end of the day, it should something like that should come out. Let's see if I can go out of the picture here. Let me put under the sustainable city and communities. So that was then the students' work. They put actually the ideas, the ideas which were worked further on from the city planning into a rendering, architectural rendering. So, and that was presented actually then to the municipality of Naga City for the 30-year sustainable plan. So this is housing, and they had the same for transport and so on. So let's go into a little bit more into the concept. So the aim is innovation, and it starts with the user. As we said, that would be the persona. However, we will do it in a different way with our edge, or actually that was the idea I wanted to do in a different way because we had to adjust it to the edge software. So that actually is the persona, and we want to have here the innovation. We want to see if it's usability and desirability. So that comes really, that is connected to the persona. Feasibility, what is feasibility? Is can we actually do it? Is it physically, can we do it? Is it possible to do? And then viability is the, is it financially, can we carry it out financially? So the edge software can give us there some information. Also here it's possible, and of course we have our due to our design thinking, we have our persona there. Let me see if I forgot everything. No, that's fine. So let's go to the core elements. It's an interactive process. So we have a multidisciplinary teams, and we have an open space where so it should be flexible to do that workshop. So these three are actually quite important to have a good outcome. That's why I'm focusing more on that one, on the multidisciplinary team. That would be for us, it would be 4 different kind of departments of the municipality, and we also would have architects, engineers, and so on board in a group work together. So principles of the design thinking process is speed. So each task is with a stopwatch. So we have to be, or it should have been very quick. So you get 1 or 2 minutes task, and the group has to decide quite quickly. Then, and this is a very interesting part here, changing ways of thinking. There are different activities where your brain will be challenged in different ways. So logical, linear thinking, unsystematic thinking. This is in the field of brainstorming. So there are different exercises on brainstorming. And then, of course, the interactive work. And that is thing where you actually can fail. You know, you try fast because it's all under time pressure. You fail because of some reason, and you fail often because that's where you learn. And then at the end of the day, you will get the empathy with the users. So you will judge different projects from your other groups in the design, so in the prototyping. So the preparation for that would be teamwork within a team. So it would be roughly 5 to 6 team members. Of course, I said it already a couple of times, multidisciplinary backgrounds, architects, engineers, planners, Werner, and so on. And then you have the team building that comes together with the persona, joint decisions about the team name, team gesture, team sound, team roles. So you create your own team in the team building and give it a name. And now we come to the steps. At first, there's a question. I think the question was somehow using the Edge software and the needs of the persona to design a better energy efficient house than the one which are on the ground. So this is to explore, that's the question. Then you have to explore what is actually the need of the persona in the house, the surrounding, or whatever, how many people and so on should live in the house. That would be the persona. Then you ideate, that's where you do the brainstorming and teamwork, where you put all your ideas together, but with a system. And then you go for prototyping. So you start to build. That's where we actually would have used the Edge software and do the prototypes, putting your ideas in the field of energy efficiency. And then you pilot it. And the pilot would be to present it to your other group members and getting a feedback, and then changing again, and so on. Okay, so I think that was actually the last slide. Yes. So, oops, getting out of the picture here. So a team is more than the sum of its members. So if you work in the team, you get actually much more out of it as just the 5 or 6 people who are in the team, because you work together and share ideas and build on these ideas. Good. So that's so much to the design thinking. Thank you for listening. And below I put some links for the EEP and for the design thinking. So some materials for you to use. It's all below the last presentation now in the material corner. Thank you very much for listening, and see you at the next Edge practical application.